The hammering of a fist against the door feels like a nail being pounded into my head. Once, twice, 3 times, I let out a long, annoyed breath and bare it while pressing my eyelids shut, fervently hoping for whoever it is just to go away. I feel pretty damn awful. My face feels like it's cast out of lead. My arms feel heavy, and I feel very queasy. It's been like this since I woke up half an hour ago, and I can't summon the energy to pick myself up out of bed. So, this is what they call a hangover. I called it. Called it. I wonder if perhaps this is the best treatment for teenagers who desperately want to try drinking as well as a way to feel like an adult. Considering how unpleasant this is, it's not something I want to repeat. A series of thumps ring out again, reverberating around the small room. I wish they'd just give up already. I have no intention of getting out of my bed for them. Seconds pass, turning to minutes, since no knocks are coming from the door. Whoever it was must have left, thank goodness. Looking at the clock at the time when I really shouldn't think of getting dressed and ready for class is approaching. I don't think I can manage though. I hate cutting class, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get much done at this rate. I can tell that I look a mess without needing to look in the mirror to confirm it too. The morning rush is giving me enough time to stand outside the classroom for a little while without looking too suspicious. I hope that Matao doesn't ask me any awkward questions about me not attending school yesterday. You know what? I'm only worried about you taking your pills still. You have to take them every morning and then like at night. I was sick. That much is true. It's just the reason for it that I have to hide. Confident I can't get by with a tactical omission of certain truths, I stride into the classroom doing my best to appear normal. The instant I open the door and take a single step, I can feel a dozen eyes looking at me. There's no way I'm imagining this. They're not even making any attempt to hide it. My eyes take a quick sweep around the classroom and I spot Naoko make eye contact momentarily before she looks down and stares very hard at her desk. Did she spill the beans? Matao may be okay as far as teachers go, but underage drinking on campus is not exactly something that would be taken lightly. I look to him with some trepidation. Feeling better today? Yeah, thank you. He motions for me to take my seat. My legs feel like sticks as they carry me there. This is going to be a long day. As soon as the lunch bell rings, I'm on my way to Nako's desk to ask her what's going on. Nako, did you tell? She looks up at me and shakes her head. That's a big relief. It's just... Well, hello, Hichan. It's nice to see you again today. Oh boy. I grimaced and turned towards the unmistakable voice coming from behind me. That was way too upbeat a tone of voice to feel comfortable, even for Misha. Misha's happy smile is nothing out of the usual. Shizune's, though, is a very bad sign. The one where she wears has become notched into her brain as well. As her I have got you 7 ways from Sunday smile. Hi Shizune, Misha, you look happy to see me. Not feeling well yesterday, Hichan? No, I wasn't. But I'm feeling better now, at least. That's good to know, Hichan. Why do I get the feeling that Shizune is leading me into a trap? You sound like you're not being completely serious. Oh no, Hichan, we're genuinely pleased that you're all better now. Shizune is positively overflowing with happiness. There's only one reason why she would be like this. Oh no. In fact, we are quite worried about you after all. You and Nako and Lily were all absent from class on the same day. Yep, she's got us. So thoroughly that all I can do is sigh in defeat. I guess you have your own theories about this. Could you just kinda not tell anyone? It's a bit late for that to chat. I suppose she's right, considering that the looks I got as I entered class. Still, Things only seem to be at the level of vague suspicion rather than an upright accusation, so it'll probably be fine. Hanako's face sinks in a little further. Such attention to is troublesome enough for me, let alone for her. Going by Shizune and Misha's reactions, I think they noticed this as well. The only reason why we were giving you such a hard time is that you ignored us yesterday morning. Yesterday morning? It takes a while to recollect what's happened then, given the haze induced by the general awful state I was in at the same time. Oh right, the knocking. That was you two? It was, and you left us there for ages, after we'd taken all the effort coming to your dormitory early in the morning. Sorry, I was having a problem with nausea? They're not buying it. I can't blame them. Shizune's head drops in resignation before she reaches into her pocket. Something white and yellow can be sticking out a little as she puts it out. It turns out to be an envelope, with very bright decorations on it. Huh. Since she points it towards me, I duly take it. This is what we were trying to give you, Chad. You don't check your... I tune out the sound of Misha's voice as my eyes register what's written on the envelope. Iwanako. Iwanako. I stare at the envelope for a moment, before suddenly remembering that there are people around me. There's a very strange, somewhat invasive feeling about their expressions. I kind of want to be alone right now. Iwanako? It's nothing. Thank you for bringing me this, Shizu. I should think so. After all, we went through all this to get it to you. I step back to say my goodbyes. Misha threatically pouts even as I go out the door. But Shizune and Hanako remain visibly curious about my reaction. I hope they won't interrogate me on this later. Oh boy. They both look curious. Oh, you're screwed. The smell of gardens is always, as always, a very pleasant sensation. Some of the most visible signs of a well-funded this school is, aside from its sheer size, are the expanse and conditions of the grounds. A good number of students can be seen eating lunch, chatting and playing on the bright green lawns. Even some of the staff is enjoying the summer here, keeping watch over the students and idly walking along the long concrete paths. I'd never seen a sight like this in my home city. Excursions, maybe, but certainly never in the school or anywhere near where I lived. Even the bench I sit on to read is warmer thanks to the summertime sun, reminding me of why I haven't worn the school blazer even once yet. Considering this, the sunflower and splashes of vibrant yellow coloring adorning the paper are quite appropriate for the time, if only the words written on it were as well. Here I was thinking I managed to get over her with the troublesome thing that shows up. Her handwriting looks vaguely familiar at best. Only now that I see it again, I remember that she used to write in pink pen a lot. She is always very girly, for lack of a better term. But she was also quite fragile. I never knew if I liked the aspect of her or not. Though with the arrival of this letter, that question seemed to have become largely moot. The letter begins with much more than an update on the state of things going on in her life. My old class is a good start to the school year. Many are anxious about the exams that will be coming up in the future, etc. But it ends on a very personal note, if brief note. It feels like she wrote most of the letter just to try and soften the blow for the ending. I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I am really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most. Even though I like you so much, at least now, I can finally be honest. I don't remember her voice. Did I give her a voice? If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I'd tell you not to give up on yourself. That's what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I had just said something. I hope you managed to get back on your feet. Or feet on your own, you know. Now that the distance between us is also physical, I also feel more final. Somehow, I wonder if we feel meet again. Perhaps it's best if we don't. Still, if you would like to correspond with me, by all means write me back. I'd very well like to hear about your new school, and how you're doing. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Iwanako. And so that's that. Our relationship is over, even though it never began. Nice, neat, and tidy with no ambiguity. I hadn't held on to any illusions that it could ever begin anew. The last time she visited me, neither of us said a thing, except for one word she said as she left for the last time. Goodbye. Be that as may, it feels most final. The capstone on an experiment that both of us tried and failed at. A loud shout draws my eyes from the letter, and just some students horsing around with one of the teachers standing nearby coming over to talk to them. Are you okay? A tentative voice comes from my side. For a moment I assume it would be Hanako, but it's actually Yuko. Oh, hello Yuko. I thought you'd be in the library. She gives a cheerful smile, one quite fitting the atmosphere, and flourishes the empty wrapper of a roll in her hand. She must have someone else covering for her while she grabbed something to eat. It reminds me that I haven't had anything to eat either yet. I don't feel very hungry though, and skipping one lunch won't hurt. Mind if I sit here? Sure, go ahead. I quickly slide the letter back into an envelope, slipping it inside my bag propped against the side of the bench as Yuko takes a seat. She drops the wrapper in the bin beside us. Without much else to do, I lean back and take what enjoyment I can from the sun, silently reflecting on the letter. The lush lawns and the clear blue skies. Everything looks so different from the way it did back then. Even the school surrounding from the hills, it's on the woods around it, are completely opposite to the urban scenery I remember. Maybe this is what it feels like to feel homesick. Then again, it's not an outright bad sensation. The feel of the area around Yamaku, all very different. It's also nice. I think I get used to it. Hey, Asao. Yeah? You didn't answer my question from before. I wasn't going to say anything, but you still look troubled. If you don't want to say anything though, that's okay. I don't mind at all. I'm sorry for asking something strange like that. I don't mind. It's just, I got a letter from someone I knew before I came to Yamaku. It made me think about some things. I thought I managed to get over most of the problems that my accident caused, but now I'm not really so sure. I kinda wish I'd never seen it. I don't think that's good, Asao. When my boyfriend left me, he did so very suddenly, and never let me know why. At first I was very depressed about it, but decided I could forgive him. You forgave him? Couldn't he at least talk properly with you about it? He is always the one with those people that I found it difficult to come close to others. In the end, I decided that I fell in love with him for a reason. He gave a good He was a good person. And I think that if I had been in position, I probably would have found it just as hard to try and talk to him. I don't really see the connection to the letter I got. I mean that, how should I put this? It must have been very hard for that person to send a letter. And if they did, I think they might have thought very hard about exactly what to say. And when Akko manages to write this letter and bring the final close to a relationship, something that I never managed to do. Whereas here I am, trying to protect and help Akko as best as I can. Especially with Lily leaving for a while, I'm not even able to deal with my own problems. Does that make sense? She takes my non-responsive furrowed brow as doubt, but she really reads my face too much, just like a certain other person. Yeah, that makes sense. The letter was just kind of a shock, really. I think I tried to fool myself into thinking that my life reset when I came into Yamaku, but now I'm suddenly aware that it didn't. I'm at a bit of a loss about how to deal with these feelings. I think there's something I couldn't really help you with. Sorry. It's fine. I think being able to talk with you helped me get through things sorted out a bit better in my head. So thank you anyway. She nods sweetly. Yuko is a nice girl. So it's a shame she's so highly strung so often. The school bell rings and how it startles us both. Ah, what? I was supposed to be back before the bell. Oops. She jumps off the bench and almost races off without a second word, but turns on her heels and she remembers she was talking to me just now. I'll see you later, Sal. Cheer up, okay? I'll try to. Thanks, Yuko. With a quick bow, Yuko takes her leave and begins to rush to the library. Her flight catches the curious eyes of a few passing students who are unenthusiastically trudging back to the classes after they're for fun. Reluctantly standing from the bench, I dust myself off and join them. Even while I walk through the gardens back to the main building, the thought of the letter in my bag doesn't stray from my mind. Ooh, we woke up in the city at nighttime. Fantastic. The feeling of walking through the streets is one very deep nostalgia. While Yamaku may be like the reverse of where I lived in the past, the city at night is amazingly familiar. My eyes are moving constantly from the bright electronic screens glowing high on the high night sky, to the street lamps piercing the darkness with their light, to the businessmen enjoying themselves after work, and the busily taking couples on dates. Even if I didn't want to, I can't help but soaking in every aspect of the city. I savor its familiarity like a sweet candy sitting on my tongue. Lily is walking to my left with her cane, swaying to and fro, holding onto her sister's arm for guidance while talking to her. Compared to traveling by taxi or bus, being driven by Akira in a rather nice car was a much more enjoyable experience. Maybe not for the person on my right, though. While Lily was used to her sister's driving style, and I quite liked a bit of excitement, Hanako was holding very tightly to the door for most of the trip. Everything looked so pretty at night. Hanako quickly looks down yet again as she accidentally crashes someone's gate. Yeah, it does. My answer isn't very thoughtful. Since I'm distracted by so many things, I find it hard to keep up on small talk. One of the distractions aside from the city sight is how Hanako looks. I agree. This is the first time I've seen her in something other than her school uniform or pajamas. It gives me a pause when I first saw her outfit when we met up at the school gate. Considering how much her head is lowered when people walk near us, I imagine that the hat she wears is much more fashion than a fashion statement. While I initially wanted wary of Lily's plan to take us into the city, when night fell, it became obvious she had thought about this. Not many people have paid Hanako much heed since the darkness had just Garnwell. So, we're in the city. Any ideas what to do? Akira beams a smile. Something tells me that she doesn't. She's the one who's making the particular decision. If it's her sister, if even if her sister may have proposed outgoing in the first place, you'll see. Just follow us. I nod and try my best to stifle a grimace. After what happened during Anako's birthday party, I don't trust Akira's judgment all that well. We keep walking, and I notice that we're passing more and more cafes, restaurants, and other eateries. Every once in a while, a drunken man in a suit comes out of a bar, usually being supported by another, but for the most part the customers around the part of the city look young and fashionable. Different kinds of music come and go as we pass by each business. The discord created by the overlap should be grating, but it reminds me so strongly of the times I spent in the city with old friends that I don't mind. Hanako and I have started to drift a little apart from Lily and Akira. That doesn't comes to a stop when I hear a soft thud from beside me. Sorry. By the time she rights herself from her apologetic bow, the middle-aged businessman she bumped into walking away after mumbling a half-hearted apology. Hanako looks a little put off by the experience as she quickly skips ahead to match my pace. I notice her head hanging low once more. She probably bumped into him because she was looking downward and not where she was going. And he stepped to the side a little and put one hand on her far shoulder, drawing her close. Oh man, Isao. Isao? It's okay. You can walk closer to me if you want. Hanako hesitates but eventually nods in assent. After a couple times when I thought we had arrived at Akira's destination, we reach our target. By now we're below the elevated hot walkway and past the most garish and bright lit place. I'm a bit surprised that average age of those around us is distinctly older, and the smell of cigarette smoke is pretty thick. The area is far from seedy though. It's a little amusing to see Lily's reaction to the smell of the smoke. When it's masked by the low talking of those around us, jazz music can be heard emanating from inside. Looking up at the dim-lit sign, it becomes obvious why. A jazz club? I have to admit, that this isn't what I expected. Lily gives an amused snort and a smile. Somehow I feel like I should have known Akira. As we talk outside, I notice more and more odd sideways glances directed our way. People awkwardly catch themselves staring and look away, but that just makes it more obvious. I had noticed this occasionally when we were walking, but it's more pronounced now. I never experienced anything like this in my life. An average-looking Japanese teenage guy, just a little taller than normal, isn't the type to draw attention without making an effort. Hey, come on. Just because you're a teenager doesn't mean you have taste, right? You can't have taste, right? Well, I don't really mind the music if that's what you mean. I don't mind it either. She only just manages to force the words out. Its contrast is heavily to when we're alone in Yumaku. And it disappoints me a little when she's so highly strung for what's supposed to be a good time out in the town. It's hard to read Hanako's face as she keeps looking downward. It's a little wonder if she doesn't come out into the city because of this. And it makes me a little thankful that my own scarring is easily hidden. Lily had a similar way of attracting people's gazes, but the reason for it is clearly different. She hardly looks like a native, but at the same time, it can be said for a sister. That much is far more noticeable than her blindness toward by distance. She may not be able to see this for herself, but I have little doubt she can hear the odd whispering phrase from people who think they're out of earshot. Be that as it may, she doesn't seem to show any sign of either annoyance or pleasure at the attention. Akira is still as confident as ever, flashing a smile. She strides with Lily by her side, and two of us following behind. I had expected my eyes not to need adjusting to the light inside, but it's not much brighter than outside. The music we heard is clear now, mixed in with the sound of glasses moving on the tables and counter, and the husky chatter of patrons. Looking to my right reveals the music source, a jazz group playing beyond some tables. The patrons seem to be mostly men, and though there's a handful of women, nobody looks under 30, aside from us, of course. I feel like we've stepped into the 1920s, and the atmosphere is quite agreeable. I'm not completely comfortable simply because I'm my age, but were I older, I would probably feel quite as at home. Hanako seems a bit more relaxed now, probably due to nobody looking at her. Everybody's talking between themselves, drinking, or watching the band. Akira casually takes a seat at the counter, and without even glancing around, she's probably come here before. Lily retracts her cane, feeling out her bar stool on the edge of the counter before taking her seat beside her sister. The bartender takes a brief break from polishing the glass to watch her, before putting it down and coming over. Good evening, ladies. What'll it be? Just a scotch. Thanks, Lily. May I have a glass of champ? A black-suited elbow hits her side sharply. Orange juice, please. No problem. Coming right up. The bartender starts to pour the drinks. A couple of seconds pass before Akira suddenly remembers that Hanako and I are indeed here, and turns around to us. You two want anything, or you just want to stand there? Hanako seems to be getting a bit restless. No matter where we're going to seat ourselves, there are gonna be people right next to her, and I don't think she looks convincingly older than 20, unlike Lily. Why don't you just sit between Isao and Lily, or Isao and Akira? Looking around, there's a game section to our right, and a couple of billiard tables can be seen in the corner, nobody using them either. I glanced at Hanako, about to ask her if she'd like to play, but she's already looking longingly in the same direction. Maybe it says something that we can get it by with so few words nowadays. We'll go play pool over there. Kira leans back to see past me before shrugging and sitting back up. It seems you'll have to put up with only me for company. How unfortunate. Have fun, you two. We turn and set off the abandoned corner with Hanako taking the lead. This prospect of a nice, quiet game away from everyone makes her walk noticeably faster. Her eyes stay firmly fixed on her prize. The table full size and well lit despite the surrounding darkness. Thanks to the bright overhead light, a huge painting of something covers the wall. What is that? What? There aren't many people milling around about the corner of this club. I can see Hanako becoming a little less tense as a result. You didn't know how to play? I'm no expert, but yeah, I do. Then, 8 ball? Sure. Hanako gets the chalk and 2 cues from the set and hooks against one of the walls, while I fetch the balls from the table pockets and grab the rack from the shelf underneath. She patiently waits as I get to the table and set up. After slotting the final ball into the rack and doing some last adjustments, I end up fighting my perfectionist urges and getting the bottom row exactly perpendicular with edges. With the balls arranged and ready for play, I step back and take my cue from her outstretched arm. I carry out a quick inspection of the tip before I'm satisfied that it's in good condition. So you've played before? Once or twice. I just kind of know the rules. The air between us feels a little awkward. She's still pretty nervous, understandably, given that we're in public. Eventually, the silence becomes too much even for Hanako, and she begins to quietly stammer. Oh, but break. I think for a moment before reaching into my pocket, drawing a coin. I'll take head or tails. After a nod of agreement from Hanako, I flick the coin up in the air and catch it. Flip it over onto the back of my left hand. Looks like it's you that gets the break. Ooh. Hanako nods again before taking up her position at the end of the table. She's not usually this quiet around me, but I'm not wholly sure if it's because of the tidbit or of information about her past that slipped out of moments ago. A cue comes back in practice gesture before smacking dead into the center of the cue ball with a thud. The white ball skates around the smooth green expanse before smashing into carefully arranged balls at the other end. Balls skitter across the table at high speed. The break was good, with the balls being nicely distributed around the table. My eyes are already flicking from one to another to pick out the easy candidate's pocket. Hanako retreats from the side as I take my shot. Well done. It's only after Hanako says that I realize that the ball I was shooting at was sunk. I look at her and notice a small smile on her face. It's nice how playing games seem to loosen her up a little. Guess I'm stripes then. I take a step back and let her take the next shot. When she doesn't advance to the table, rather she looks down a little and rubs her arm. By now I can identify that this is one of her gestures that means she wants to say something, but isn't sure enough to herself to do it. What's up? It's just, you had a nice smile. Do you like playing this? I sigh and lean back against the table. I like playing, yeah. I think I was smiling because it was really nostalgic though. Naoko tilts her head quizzically. Me and my friends used to play pool in the game center near where we lived pretty often, and at night too. But when my parents both worked, so they didn't mind me not being in the house. I stayed on top of schoolwork pretty easily as well, so there was plenty of time to do other stuff at night. Our conversation dies down with Naoko's timidity getting the better of her. In response, I get off the table and let her take her turn shooting. There aren't many solids in easy position, so Naoko bends down and takes the ball to line herself up properly. Hanako's expression is the same as when we play chess. A relaxed but focused concentration. Athletes sometimes talk about getting into the zone where things unnecessarily enter their mind. I wonder if that's something she can do. Her posture is good, better than mine. To be sure, it's very close to the textbook method of playing, whereas I tend to contort myself into whatever position I feel is more natural for the shot I'm taking. Whoa. She lines up the cue comes back. She does a couple of practice movements to make sure she's lined up correctly. Nako takes games so seriously, it's only a real hobby. It's the only real hobby I know she has. Outside of reading, it feels good to be able to share this kind of experience with her. She takes the shot. After careful consideration, the cue ball zooms off towards the ball at a slightly awkward angle near a corner. Nako's careful preparations pay off as the cue ball hits it and sends the ball rolling towards the corner pocket. For a moment, it looks like it'll stop just on the lip of the hole, but eventually tilt just enough to drop in. Man, that was a hard shot. If you can pull that off, I don't think you have much hope. I'm not that good. It's not just a good shot though. Even when lining it up, you looked really serious. You like this with chess too. The praise makes her a little flustered. She sets the cue against the table and stands turning to me. I just like those kind of things. Her fingers are twisting and turning tightly. When I was in the orphanage, I just kept doing things I liked before. If I played games with the others, that was enough for the helpers there, so I never thought about it that way. Staff at an orphanage would naturally want to have everyone socialize at least a little. If it's okay for me to ask, what was it like for you at the orphanage? Why do you want to know? I've touched a nerve, but the fact she responds at all shows at least a chance she'll answer my question. Before, she likely would just have shrunk away from it without a word. I'll tell you, but... Can you tell me who Iwanako is? Iwanako? Oh, the letter. I wonder how long she's been waiting for the right opportunity to ask me this. I'm surprised, but don't hesitate sharing information. Information is naturally a matter of give and take. She's the person that gave me that heart attack. She's someone I used to like. Her nervousness subsided, at least for the time it took to ask. Her curiosity getting the better of her, I feel a bit uncomfortable to be questioned on this of all matters. There's no way I could spill out all my feelings about Iwanako here. I don't even know myself what my feelings regarding her are. Even after talking to Yuko earlier, and I want to avoid the subject around Hanako. Hanako doesn't look overly satisfied with the awkward ending to the discussion, but thinks better of continuing it. She was just managing to ask me if in the first place, without knowing what I wouldn't want to talk about it. I moved to take my own shot, the lack of talking between us filled by the chatter of other patrons and the band at the other end of the club. Spying a shot that doesn't look too difficult, I try to shoot for it. The cue ball taps the ball and trajectory is about right, but I put in too much power. It grazes the corner of the hole and moves off the side, just skirting the pocket. I grit my teeth a little. I was pretty good at this game, and it's frustrating to have deteriorated so much. I step back and let Hanako take her turn, glancing towards the counter where Lily and Akira are sitting. They're talking busily between themselves and seem to have a good time. I turn back to Hanako as she takes her shot. With the same pace as before, she lines herself up and sharply pushes the cue. Just as before, she takes the ball she was aiming for. It drops inside the pocket more cleanly than her last, though. It looks as if she's getting more into the groove of the game. Nicely done. She hesitates for a moment and begins to address me without turning her head. The orphanage was nice. It felt a bit like Yamaku does, and the staff was really kind. But as the years went on, I realized something. I was different. It feels strange to hear her so candidly about herself. She's audibly forcing the words out. It reminded me of when she tells me about the fire. Naoko must feel that she has to tell of such things if I'm willing to tell her about my own past. Her grip on the cue tightens as she continues to speak. Most of the children, they were for adoption, just like I was. But unlike me, they gradually left, one by one. By the time I went to Yamaku, I was among the oldest children there. For a while, I helped with some of the younger children, but eventually, I lay a hand on her shoulder. She's forcing herself by now. It's okay. She looks mildly surprised for a moment, but then nods before setting down her cue and turning towards me. Do you really think so? Yeah, I think so. Even while Lily's away, I'll be around to protect you, right? Those were some big words, Sal. I don't... Naoko looks at me for a long time, and I'm taken a bit off guard. Her expression hasn't changed from before. Still looking somewhat maudlin, and silences between us are unusual. I think the fact that she's holding such a prolonged eye contact that makes me feel a little bit odd. Dude, it feels as if she's judging me. It's a very strange, vaguely uncomfortable feeling. Naoko? I understand. Thank you. She smiles and looks away a little, but it feels stilted. Naoko isn't very good at faking emotions, and this is no exception. I move to the table and take my turn to try and distract myself, but it doesn't seem to work. Does she think I'm not up to the task of helping her? Is she disappointed in me? I'm probably overthinking this. Or silence are just an acceptable fact of life. By now, sometimes I do wish she'd speak more. With a thud, I sent a white sphere careening down the table into my target. Ah! Naoko sees what's happening just as I do. The ball hits hard with a straight ball and intended to sink, veering off towards the 8-ball. Sure enough, as both Naoko and I looked on and bite our lips, they connect and the black ball rolls leisurely into the corner pocket. All I can do is sigh. It looks like Naoko's smiling again though, so maybe it wasn't for naught. That was an awful shot. You win. It seems I'm getting pretty rusty after all this time. Naoko bends down and begins to shoot the remaining balls in the closet pocket. I almost asked if we could play another game, but a quick check on my watch confirms that the night is getting pretty late. Lily and Akira appear to be still drinking at the counter. Seems like we'll have to drag them away. Is Al? I turn back to Naoko, who's still looking over the pool table shooting balls. Her voice sounds different from before. I'm here for you as well. I suddenly find myself blushing. It's only natural that she'd respond this way given what I said earlier. But it's still a shock to actually hear it. Just what is my relationship with this girl? I wanted to protect her, to make her happy. I'm not really sure that it's something like love, but I don't think these are the same kind of feelings I have for Lily either. I feel sorry for having gone through so much in her life. Her parents died in a house fire and she lived in an orphanage for most of her childhood. I can't even imagine that kind of life. But I feel like there's so little I can do for her. Especially now that Lily's going to be leaving the country. And how can I finish tidying up the table and cues and pick up Lily and Akira on her way out of the club? It feels like something changed between Hanako and me. I can't quite place what it is, but Hanako is acting differently now. I feel like we're further apart if anything. No, Asao. So you enjoy yourselves? Hanako and I both nodded and agreed. The game was good and we both did learn more about each other. So it's an honest answer. Well, Lily appears to be a little distracted. Asao. Oh. Worried about the trip, Lily? She paused before sighing and smiling weakly. A little. Well, a little. It means quite a bit. The comment earns a clap on the shoulder from her sister. Naoko smiles back too. You'll be okay, Lily. I hope you can enjoy your time over there. Thank you, Hanako. I'll try to. It'd be nice to be back with my family after all. No matter for how brief a time it may be. With that, the four of us begin to walk in the car park, where Akira's car is. We continue to talk between ourselves, but it's mostly just small talk. Do 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 do.